Hi guys, they were taking a look at a HDMI sync box. This particular one is from Lytmi. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. So you may be wondering what a HDMI sync box is. It's a device which takes a HDMI input from something like a Skybox, your cable box, Blu-ray player, or even a gaming console. And the device is connected to your TV, and it also has some LED strips connected to it, and it attempts to sync the colors appearing on the screen with the signal that's being sent to it. So I've laid out everything you get in the packaging, so let me briefly show what you get. You get two sets of brackets to assist with installing the LEDs you get. You get a HDMI cable which is 90 centimeters in length. There's a power adapter, and the length of the cable on this is 150 centimeters. The output is 12 volts, 4 amps. You get the HDMI sync box. Looking around the back, you've got a reset button, you've got HDMI output, HDMI input, and two USB connectors for the LED strips, and a DC power in. Underneath, you've got some rubber pads to avoid it slipping on the surface. And this unit supports HDMI 2.0B and HDCP 2.0. So you can support 4K at 60 frames per second. So it's a direct competitor to the Philips Hue Sync box, but at a fraction of the cost. You get two rolls of LEDs. Each one is 240 centimeters in length. Build quality of this looks really good. There's no sticky pads on these. You actually use the attachments over here, and I'll show how to put them on in a moment. On the end of the LEDs, you've got a cable, and that's 92 centimeters in length, and you've got a USB Type A connector on them. So I'll be setting up this kit on my LG C1 OLED TV. Coming around the back of my TV, installation is really easy with this. In the packaging, you get two types of clips. One is a corner one, obviously there's 4 of those, and you've got a straight edge one, and these go either side, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. So you've got 6 of those. Just to show how you'd install the LED into the clip, it's just a matter of taking your clip and then placing the LED in there, clips into position, you can hear it there. And with a straight edge, it just sits into place, you just push it in, and literally that's it. Installing the first corner, just peel off the sticky bit. 3M sticker just to note, and we put it close to the edge, top and bottom. We can place the LED in position now and get the cable coming inwards like so. Middle clip goes on now. I'm going to leave a slight gap here just so the LED can sit over there and the LED can be clipped in now. Adding in the corner piece here now, and we can clip the LED into place now. 2 straight connectors over here now. I've placed the remaining clips into position, so the corner one, side one, and 2 on the lower area. We can start installing the other LED now. So coming off to the initial starting corner, clip it into place, and get the cables going inwards. And we can clip the rest of the LED along the bottom now and come back up the top. I adjusted how the cables ran, so instead of getting it in the middle, just moved it to the 2 locations at the side. That sort of made more sense. Both the LEDs are now in place, so I've done the bottom row and it's come all the way up, and now you can see there's an overlap. So the top one's here and the bottom one's there. Now this is the point where you're going to have to cut it. Now the cut has to be done. You can't leave it overlapping like this. If you did leave it like this, it won't synchronize properly because it won't know the correct lengths for these. Coming in close, you can see there's 3 LEDs and then there's a copper cut point. You can see that every so often, and the copper bit is where you cut it. Do not cut where the LED is there. So aim for the middle area. If I can show that, sort of just about comes through on the camera. So just aim for the middle area around there. That's cut now, and you can see the copper connector on there. Clip that into position now. Next one to cut, and the cut point's there. So it'll just be a slight gap. You don't have to worry about that. And now as I'm squeezing the scissors, you can see the connector point there, the 3 copper points. If I just cut through now, there you go. And then that can sit over here. Now with the bit you've cut off, you could take the cover off here and place it into position at either side, but you don't have to do that, only because this is quite a low voltage LED being here, and it won't make any difference if it wasn't covered. I managed to get the LEDs closer together because I noticed there's a little bit of slack just at the bottom there. So I pulled it along and then pulled it up, and that brought it closer together. So it's looking much better now. Let's get everything connected to the sync box. So looking around the back on there, you've got a HDMI output, and I'll plug the cable that came in the packaging into this. The other end will get plugged into my TV. Then on the input, I'll plug in my gaming console. And next to that, you've got LED strip. So the side one here, that's the one going upwards. And then we've got bottom, which is obviously the bottom one going along there. And then the DC power gets plugged into there. Let me get the remaining wires plugged in and I'll tidy up everything behind the TV. Let's turn on the sync box for the first time. You can see it initializing. And that's it, it's ready. Let's make a start at setting up this device. So coming over to my Android phone, going to the Play Store. This is the app we're after, Lytmi. So I've already got it installed. You'll be asked to register an account on there. And I've already done this, so let's open it up. This is what you're initially presented with. And to get this device added in, if I click the plus, click on Neo, we need to enter in our Wi-Fi password. Just to note, only 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi supported. And if you were having issues adding this in, just disable your 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi and then you can re-enable it again. I've entered in my Wi-Fi password next to that and let's give it a moment. There you go, simple as that. We just need to select a room now. I'll select Studio and click Complete. And now if I click on Studio, there it is. Now I've turned on my TV, let me show you around the device. So looking here on the shortcut, if I click there, you can turn it off, turn it on from there. Going in there, please complete the lamp setting first. So this is configuration on there, so confirm to that. We've got the light strip next to that. It's asking which side you've started the installation of the LEDs from. And what they're showing there is how I have it on the left-hand side. Next to that, now we're just confirming the colors. So it looks identical to what I'm seeing in the app. Done to that, and that's it. Simple as that to get going with that. And immediately when you look at the picture, the colors are coming through perfectly. You can see red at the bottom, blue at the top, lighter colors at the left-hand side, and on the right, combination of yellowy orangey colors on there. So color representation is very good on there. Now looking on the app, it's in screen mode at the moment, and there's 3 different options on this. You've got weak, normal, and high. So we'll leave it on normal, and that's just to do with the performance of how quickly it's keeping up with the changes that's happening on the screen. Next, going to music. This is music sync, so it just moves the LEDs accordingly to the sound going on in the background. Now coming back to screen and looking below that, you've got brightness levels that can be adjusted. You can take it right down. So if it was too much for your viewing experience, or let's just take it up slowly so you can see the difference and take it to the max. Now looking in the corner, you've got settings. You can rename the device here. You can see device info and you can remove it from there. Now back from there, and then below, right at the bottom, you've got a power button. Obviously that turns it off. Clicking again turns it back on again. Next to that, video is lit up. That means that's the mode that's selected. If we go to scene, these are various scenes. I'll briefly go through them. So we've got rainbow first of all. Then we've got fire, read, firework, star, drip, particle, flow, ball. That's pretty cool. Swing, breathe, and finally pure. Next, moving on to color. And you've got a color palette here, so you can run through the different colors and just pick a static color. Let's move it along. I like this interface, quite easy to maneuver around. Again, you've got brightness levels here that can be taken down, taken back up again. Some predefined colors below. Quite cool how it transitions between it. Then finally you've got setting, and this is where you can reconfigure the setup for this. No need to do that again. On the next one, you've got setup side. You can change that if you move things around. And then finally, you've got timer, and you can set a timer so it can automatically turn off. Now, this app is Tuya based. So if you're already using smart tech from Tuya or Smart Life, you can also add this in without any issues. Now, going back to video, putting it on screen, going to high, let's test this out now. Let's begin with testing out with a color wheel. And as you can see, color representation is spot on and looks great with the colors following around the screen. So no issues there at all. Moving on to playing a video, and again, accuracy is excellent on this. You can see the different colors transitioning along as I'm walking along here. You don't see any false colors appearing on the screen. So accuracy wise, again, excellent with this. I'll let this run through a bit so you can see for yourself. Now let's try out some gaming with this. And again, color accuracy is spot on. You can see here with Astro's Playroom, color transition is absolutely perfect with this. And again, no false representations of colors. So really impressed how well it performs. I'll let a little bit more of this run through. Just to give you a close-up on the LEDs, to give you an idea how it looks. You can see little dots on there, but the rubber works quite well with it, so it acts as a bit of a diffuser. Now going on to my Xbox and showing the different resolution types, I've got the resolution set to 4K Ultra HD and a refresh rate to 60 Hz, which is 60 frames per second. Now going on to 4K TV details, you can see some details here regarding the resolution and what's supported here. And scrolling down to the bottom. So with this supporting 4K at 60 frames per second, it's got a HDMI connection which supports 2.0B. Now the previous Neo I did, HDMI support was 1.4. So this is a big leap forward for them, but obviously 4K at 120 Hz isn't supported on this, which is a bit of a shame if you had one of the next gen gaming consoles together with a TV that supported 4K at 120 Hz. But if you were just using this for watching movies, it's perfect. And if you just had a standard TV and you weren't too bothered about the 120 Hz, happy with 60 Hz, then this is perfect. Now I've been testing out the sync box with both the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. And one oddity I've noticed on the Xbox is every so often the lights will flicker and they'll just go off for a moment and come back on. Now, very odd with that happening. I did reach out to Lytmi regarding this, but I've managed to work out what the issue is here. And if I can just demonstrate the flickering happening, there you go, just flickered there. And the reason that's happening is because variable refresh rate is on. And what I discovered, if you turn that off, then it's fine, you don't have any issues. You don't get that issue on the PlayStation 5, obviously it doesn't support variable refresh rate on there. So if you do get this and you notice the flicker, that's the reason for it. And to fix it, obviously go into settings, TV and display options, video modes, and there it is there. Allow variable refresh rate. Just turn that off and that's it, it's fine after that. So as well as supporting 4K at 60 frames per second, it can also support 1080p at 120 Hz. Now, if you're wondering what happens with movies and if there's a letterbox effect, this is it. It works fine, no issues at all. So in summary, I'm really impressed with the latest HDMI Sync box from Lytmi, supporting 4K at 60 frames per second with perfect accuracy and at a fraction of the cost of the Philips Hue Sync box. Negatives wise, 4K 120 frames per second still isn't supported, which is a real shame, and you can't sync it with any other smart lights you may have in the room. Only one input is supported, so if you had multiple devices to plug into this, you may need to get an additional device like a splitter to allow you to have multiple signals coming down into the device. And the HDMI Sync box only works with a HDMI signal going into it. So if you had a smart TV which had apps on there like YouTube or Netflix, that's not going to be able to sync along with this. But other than that, still a pretty good product. So there you have it. You've made it to the end of another video, and I hope it's helped anyone thinking of purchasing this. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. If you're new to the channel, hope you can subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified of my next release. Thanks for viewing and see you in the next one.